Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Friday the 13th, Part 2. So this film came out a year after the last one, and our director this time around will direct another film in this franchise, and whenever I get around to covering the Halloween franchise, he directed H2O. Steve Miner is the director of Part 2 and Part 3 of the Friday the 13th movies, which Part 2 is a lot of people's favorites, because it has the best final girl in this series. I think that my personal favorite is probably Part 6. I'd say Part 2 is number 3 or 4 in my rankings. It's went up a lot. It used to be like 4 or 5. But I'd say that it just went up above Part 3. So, talking about Part 2. So, the first movie influenced a lot of horror films, like Halloween 2, because the first film was a lot more gory, a little more sleazier. There was nudity in Halloween 1, but 2 kind of cranks it up some. And the gore is a lot bigger in Halloween 2. So this film was riding off like the success of the first film. And this film does everything the first film did, but better. I like the characters more. I think Paul and Ginny are great characters. I like the other characters. I believe Mark is the guy in the... If I get the guy in the wheelchair's name wrong, I think it's Mark. He gets the machete to the face kill, which is probably one of the more iconic ones of this franchise. When he goes sliding down the stairs, the wheelchair goes bouncing down each set of stairs. It goes on for a long time. And so let's talk about Jason's appearance in this film. So we all know Jason's appearance in every other film in this franchise besides the first two. It's the hockey mask. This movie did not have that yet. This film has the sackhead Jason, which I know a lot of people say is very similar to The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which came out in the 70s. That film did. So basically the whole design is overalls, plaid shirt, bag over the head, a sack over the head with a tiny eye hole cut out of it. Compared to the rest, it's pretty goofy looking, but it kind of fits this movie more because he's more of a human. Because the whole series goes that the first 3 or the first 4 he's human. We don't see him in the first film, and it's pretty much assumed that it was a dream at the end of the first, so we don't see him until this film. So I think it goes 2, 3, and 4. He's human. Maybe a little bit extra strength, but he's still human. That's why when Jenny kicks him in the nuts in this film, because she drops, he takes a lot more damage. He's scared of the chainsaw that she brings at him. And he's more beatable. And then 6 through the rest of the films before the remake, he's a zombie. Or not a zombie, but like an undead killer who comes back by the lightning. So, that's when you get the more Jason that's unstoppable, teleports and stuff like that. So he's still a man in this film. So some of the kills that are pretty big from this movie. There's the claw, where the cop is investigating, or the sheriff. Is he a sheriff? I think he's either a security guard or he's one officer or something. He's investigating the shed, and he gets the back of a hammer to his head because he's investigating Jason's shed. And we kind of start to learn Jason's pretty territorial. And I believe there was 2 actors who played Jason in this film. Also, there's the character of Terry, who she gets killed by it's not shown on screen. We see her in the shed later on. She's just laying there, so I don't know if he just broke her neck or strangled her or something. More than likely he strangled her to death. But there's the perp Scott that he slits his throat with the backside of a machete, I think. And because he's hanging upside down. Now Tom Savini didn't do the effects for this film, which is why I think the gore isn't as good. There's the twofer, which you probably know. There's behind the scenes stuff about that one. They couldn't show any nudity because one of the actresses was underage, and that's why he doesn't show anything. But it's one of the more iconic kills from this movie. Jason uses his spear and goes through both of them. And let's talk about Jenny. So Jenny is the final girl in this film. I think she's top 3 for me. I do think Chris is my favorite, and then Trish, and then Jenny, but objectively, I say that word a lot, Jenny is the best of this franchise. She puts on the biggest fight versus Jason, And she's the one who, when she's talking to Paul and Paul's friend at the bar, she's like talking about his psychology, how you have to kind of feel bad for him because, you know, he never had anybody besides his mother, and when he came out of the woods and saw his mother get decapitated, because I think I said in the first film, but this one reveals that Jason never drowned. He just washed up on shore somewhere and like lived out in the wild until like the beginning of the first film when he saw Pamela get decapitated. So he saw his mother get killed. Then he becomes territorial, starts defending Crystal Lake, killing anybody who goes there. And this film takes place, I believe, 5 years after that movie. Although I believe the opening, where he kills Alice from the first film with a ice pick, takes place a couple months after the first film, so like 2 months after or something. So Jenny, she's a psychologist, so she towards the end of the film, after she's ran from Jason, attacked him, and Paul attacks him, she makes it Jason's shed. She gets the idea, she sees Pamela's decapitated head, because Jason's made a kind of shrine out of it, of the head and the sweater. She puts on the sweater, and then plays the role of Jason's mother. Starts talking to him, and Jason's fooled by it. He thinks his mother's right there, so she's using this to her advantage. And then she's about to strike him with a machete. He sees the head, though, snaps out of it, cuts her in the leg with a pickaxe. Paul attacks him, and when he's fighting Paul, Jenny finally gets the machete and brings it down his shoulder. And towards the end of this film, we see Jason jump through the window at Jenny, which is like the last minute jump scare that they were doing for the first 3 films of this franchise. Brings it, jumps out at her, and we see his face. He's like long, unkempt hair, patchy beard. And then at the end, she's wheeled off on a stretcher. So again, it's more likely a dream. And I say it is probably a dream because in the third film we kind of find out something that would make him having long hair kind of be a little. It doesn't make any sense when we find out what happened to Chris in the third film. So, which I'll discuss that next episode. And what do I rate Friday the 13th Part 2? What does this movie deserve? It is not a 7. It is better than a 7. It is better than the original. So, I'm a big fan of these movies, so I'm going to give it an 8.9 out of 10. Which will be what I probably give Part 3 too. Or give that one an 8.8, because I like that movie too a lot. It was probably my favorite growing when I was younger, watching these movies. So, we'll discuss that one next episode. But overall, this is a great sequel. It introduces Jason, and although it's not the Jason we know and love yet, it sets up the ground functions. And for anybody saying that Jason's always been kind of a slow walker, stumbling, not stumbling, but just slow, almost melodic, or hypnotic, like brain dead sort of. That is not at all what Jason is. He runs in this film. He runs in I think he runs in everyone until the 6th one. And, well, he's not in the 5th one. But, yeah. So, there's a lot of stuff that, when you think of Jason, these first 3 films are different than the character as we see him evolve into the hockey mask killer he is the next episode. So, I will see you guys in the review of Friday the 13th Part 3, my personal favorite when I was younger. So, we'll see if it still holds up. I watched it a week ago. I enjoyed it. I think it does. So, as always, you guys are the reason why I can do this. I am blessed every day to have you guys watching my channel, being here for me. Take care. Stay blessed. Thank you guys, as always.